So this is one of those slides that says it's going to have a lot of words on. So I'll break it down here. But let's start with this one. What is a very common problem we hear? A common problem we hear is that recruitment and admissions teams are using multiple systems. We see that all the time. You go to a school, they have their recruiting team, and the recruiting team is logging into one type of system to capture inquiries and prospects. Then their admissions team is logging into a different system to manage applications and make decisions. The applicants are logging into another applicant portal environment to fill out the application itself. There's no ability to report on longitudinally where did an inquiry come from that became an applicant that became an enrolled student, because they don't have that in one system. They would have to cobble that kind of data together from multiple systems. That's what's broken in higher education. That is a very, very common problem in higher education. We see it everywhere. And so we try and say, why don't you consolidate all of that into one system? You should have one RAD CRM that can do all recruitment and admissions activities inside of one system. So that's a common problem, and the solution is to do that on one platform. The next one down, our busy admissions staff receive too many calls from applicants about next steps. And applicants don't know what to do next. What am I still missing? Do I have to submit this document and that document? Now, the Enrollment RX, many of you know, how do we solve that? We solve that with those incredible applicant portals, with checklist widgets and applicant status widgets and counselor widgets and text box widgets and whatever kind of widget and communication we want to communicate, so that the person knows this is what you need to do next, and it's intuitive. But if you don't have that technology, then how are you doing that? And that's a major problem in the industry. And then the next one down is related to that. Our current admission software can't handle the complexity of evolving requirements. The COVID pandemic hits, and now all of a sudden your applicant portal needs to change and you need to collect more information. Or the board approves a brand new program that was never offered before, that's only offered online, that has new application requirements. How are we adding that to the CRM system or to the applicant software experience? And so that's a common problem that we need to be able to say, hey, give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. I can add that. Now, again, those that speak Enrollment RX understand that, yes, that's give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. But if you don't have our technology, how are you doing that? Same thing, our operational teams require IT support for even small modifications. We speak to so many schools that can't make changes to their system, that once a year they get a chance to make a change to their applicant portal experience. And if they don't submit their changes and they have to wait another whole year even before they can make changes again, believe it or not, that really does exist in our industry. So we don't want that kind of problem. We want the ability where people can make changes, the operational teams can make changes. Give me a few minutes, I'll be right back to any of those changes. That's our solution to that common problem. And then our legacy CRM is disjointed, lacks training resources, and has been impacted by admin turnover. How often do we find when at Enrollment RX we speak to schools that have either tried to custom build or custom implement or have stood up legacy systems that the people that stood them up have left the institution? And why did we create it that way? Why did we build it that way? There's no documentation even that explains it. That's a problem. We come in, how do we fix that? We come in with products, right? We're going to talk more about that in just a minute, but we come in with products that have user manuals that say this is how you should do it as a best practice, not custom build it and figure it all out yourself from scratch. And then lastly, we want to maximize Salesforce for recruitment, admissions, and decisions. And it's related to the other one. We speak to a lot of schools that have been using Salesforce, but just aren't getting, that's not rad for them yet. And I know that many of you on the call can relate to that. I mean, many of you came to us because you had been using Salesforce for years and without the kind of success that you were looking for. And then when we were able to implement and adopt our products, we're obviously able to make it much more effective for you. So those are the common problems that we hear.